Today we're going to take a look at the biggest, baddest blower on the market, the Stihl 800C. The heart of all these outdoor power products is the engine, and this one has a pretty unique engine that most people are not aware of. So it has an 80cc engine, but it is what Stihl calls a four mix. So it is a four-stroke engine, but there's no oil in the crankcase. So this still uses a mixed fuel, so you mix oil with the fuel. That passes through the crankcase and goes into the engine just like a two-stroke. So that's what lubricates the crankcase and all the vital components of the engine. However, it is not a two-stroke, so it has valves and a camshaft. And the reason they are doing that is for fuel consumption and emissions. Two-strokes are notorious for expelling unburnt fuel, and that's really just has to do with the operation of the engine and the lack of control with your exhaust. It has a really big hose. The biggest thing holding back four-stroke engines from this small power equipment is that they can be used at severe angles. When you use a four-stroke engine at a severe angle, the oil moves out of the sump and it starves the oil pump, and it doesn't have any oil to pump around the engine, and you've got lubrication problems. So this is a genius solution by Stihl to bring four-stroke power, reduced emissions, and better fuel economy to this type of power equipment. Now, the one drawback to having this four-stroke engine is you need more displacement than a typical two-stroke engine. So a two-stroke engine has basically double the number of combustion occurrences at any given RPM than a four-stroke engine. So in general, you can double the amount of CC from a two-stroke to a four-stroke to get comparable power. So this is 80cc. That rule of thumb kind of is out the window as four-stroke engines are refined more and more. And another benefit of putting the intake air through the crankcase in these four-mix engines, that acts a little bit like a supercharger and pressurizes that air-fuel mixture to put it into the engine and get more power out of it. This you can check out the specs. I think this one has 4.4 horsepower, so it's definitely a beast of an engine. Just don't expect a screaming two-stroke like a 80cc chainsaw would have. Basically, those sound like a dirt bike racing around. This does not have that, which is kind of nice when you're using it. It's not really loud. Now you've got your hand controls on your nozzle here. They're pretty standard. You've got your throttle. You've got engine stop. And then you also have a throttle lock, so you can lock the throttle in place there so you're not fatiguing your finger. There are also adjustments here. There's a quick connect here, and you can slide this anywhere along here so that it fits your arm pretty well. You know, if you're going to use this thing for hours, that's pretty important. We also have adjustment on our nozzle here. It's got this nice collar that basically tightens. I use it in the all the way out position to get closer to the ground, but that is a nice feature also. Now this has a nice set of padded back straps. We have our waist strap. We've got a chest strap in addition to this abdomen strap. And you know, this is a fairly heavy unit. It's the biggest unit, biggest blower on the market, and that keeps it nice and tight up on your shoulders, keeps it tight to your back, so after hours of use it doesn't feel too bad. Now I've had this thing for about a year. I've put a decent amount of hours on it, especially last fall blowing leaves, and one of the negatives I read from other people is that they would develop split in this bellows area here, and I have not experienced that myself. I am not a commercial user. I'm just using it at my home. But that's one of the things I try to treat this fairly gentle because I saw that. But I have had no issues with that. Now, the Stihl's model numbers and configurations can get a bit confusing, but the big difference between the BR800 and the BR800C is the addition of this side start that you can use while wearing this on your back. So what this actually does is it's a ratcheting mechanism with a spring to assist you in starting the engine. So you kind of pull it until it winds that spring up to assist you, and then you give it a good yank to get the engine going, and we'll demonstrate that now. So what I like to do before getting this thing on my back is go through a starting sequence. So prime it a few times here, put it on choke, and if you want, you can always start it without it, not on your back here. What I've found, if you do that, even at idle, this thing's moving a lot of air through that nozzle, and it tends to shoot around on you like a fire hose. So what I like to do is, like I said, just prime it a few times, put it on choke, get this bad boy on you here. And there's these handy adjustments you can see here. Obviously, it's hanging way too low on my back. So it's got these thumb loops on the straps here. Just kind of pop it up there, get it into place. Works out pretty slick. Then we can, oh, lost some weight there. Cinch that up around the hips, and it holds that baby pretty good. So this side start takes a little bit getting used to, but I have it primed and the choke on. You can see here we'll just winding up that spring basically until it gets tight, and then give it a nice smooth pull. You can see here the engine cranked over there. There, it starts up pretty good. It is a feature that I thought I didn't need. When I went to my local dealer to buy one, they only had this model, so I bought it. When are you done? Are you done yet? Yeah, I'm almost done. After that conversation, you don't have to take it off. Now, would I change anything about this? So I've had it a little bit over a year. It's been awesome. The only thing I would change is to give this thing more power. That's right, more power. This is the biggest, baddest blower on the market. And the only way to improve it is to give it, I don't know, 100 cc's? Hell, why not just go to 150? I don't know. I'd like to blow leaves into the woods from back here. So I guess what I'm saying is go with the big one. In all seriousness, this thing blows leaves exceptionally well, but it's still a blower. It's still using air. Wet leaves, no problem. I was a little bit hopeful that if I had some sticks in the yard, maybe branches, I'd be able to blow those into the woods with the leaves. That's not quite the case. Smaller sticks and that whatever will easily go with this bad boy. Um, but branches, no, still a no go. Overall, if you've got a BR600, uh, one of the lesser Stihl models, maybe a Husqvarna, and you're debating should I upgrade to the BR800? If you're a professional user and you've got a lot of hours, it will save you time, so I'll say it's worth it. But I think from a 600 to a 700, it's probably not a big of enough difference for a residential user to make it worthwhile. This thing is awesome. I'm glad I bought the top one at the time. But if a 900 comes out next year and it's another 5 cc's, I will probably not be upgrading. I will stay with this one. But if you've got a handheld blower and you're using that sucker even as a residential, um, absolutely worth the upgrade. Get a backpack blower, and why not spend 50 bucks more, 100 bucks more, whatever it is, and get the biggest one. It's definitely worth it. You will not regret it because time saving blowing leaves. Wait a minute. Slave time blowing leaves. Leave. Whatever. Less time blowing leaves is good. Now I still have my trusty BG56 here, Stihl blower. This is still handy for blowing out the garage, blowing off the back patio, if there's just some grass clippings on it. Um, it's a lot quicker just to grab this thing fired up. Then to put this thing, I hang this thing up for storage, get it off the wall, get it strapped up here, started, and walk around. Um, if I did not have all this already, I probably wouldn't buy it just for that convenience. But I had it already, so I kept it. One other thing to note here, Stihl has a great reputation for reliability, and I'll have to say I've experienced that myself. I've had multiple Stihl chainsaws. This blower here is about 10 years old, and I've used it a lot. This backpack blower is about a year old. I have had zero issues with any of them. So, thumbs up, Stihl. They are a German company, but they've become so popular that a lot of these things are manufactured right here in the U.S. So that's another thumbs up. They're not coming from Mexico or China, things like that. Um, so overall, Stihl thumbs up. This BR800 thumbs up. The only way to make this better is to make more power. Bring on the weed! Feel pretty good about that waist belt being so loose. Must have lost a few inches. Probably deserve a milkshake or something.